Welcome bikers to the safety training video. You have chosen to take part in a ride that benefits the Southern Tier AIDS program, its services, programs, and most importantly, clients and family members who are impacted by HIV and AIDS. Today we will be covering 3 parts. Number 1.
Number 2. The rules of the road.
Number 3.
The victory.
We need to cover a few last-minute details before we all meet by 6 a.m.
on ride day.
Stewart Park for the actual ride. This video is to focus on some very critical issues we ask you to keep in mind. You have ridden long and hard. You have raised tons of money to support STAP.
And ride day.
Way of saying thank you. We have prepared for a wonderful ride with pit stops, plenty of food to eat, energy drinks, lots of smiles, maybe a few tears, and the support of the Greater Southern Tier of New York State. But before we move on, remember to eat a good breakfast the morning of the ride. You should eat before you're hungry and drink before you're thirsty in order to stay hydrated. If you don't have to go to the bathroom at every pit stop, you're not drinking enough. Now let's get ready to experience the ride. Riders need to be at Stewart Park no later than 6 a.m. as it takes a lot of time to organize riders, do the opening ceremony, and get on the road by 6:45 a.m. Please make sure you're there in plenty of time to stretch out, meet other riders, and participate in the opening ceremony. Make sure your friends and family come to see you off, as the opening ceremony is really something to see.
You will have the option of a 50, 90, or 100-mile ride on ride day.
Depending on how many miles you choose to go, you will hit anywhere from 2 to 5 big hills. Remember, mind over matter. Just think of them as speed bumps. Lunch will be served at the Seneca Falls Community Center on the Erie Canal. Make sure you invite your friends and family to join you there. The plan will be for all riders to ride down the west side of Route 89 and meet at Cass Park by 5 p.m. for the victory ride back to Stewart Park. Riding according to the rules of the road is extremely important.
It's very important that riders wear their wristband and number at all times. If a younger rider is found riding without adult supervision, they'll be taken to the next pit stop. It's a necessary safety precaution that STAP is taking in order to let younger riders be a part of the ride. If a younger rider gets lost from their adult, we will do our best to reunite them so they can finish the ride together. Isn't that right, Summer?
That's right, Mom. Don't you remember last year when we were going up a big hill and I got separated from you? After being reunited at the pit stop, we continued the ride. Also, don't forget that electronic devices are not allowed to be used while you're riding your bicycle. That includes cell phones, earphones, radios, anything like that. I have to remind my mom every year.
That's right, Summer, and thank you for your insight. It is important to keep attention while on the road so you can hear what's going on around you. Also, all riders must have an ANSI, CPSC, or ASTM certified helmet at all times. If you do not comply, you will have to give up your number and your wristband. There is also a few other etiquette that you need to follow to be safe on the road.
When riding in a group, be sure to ride in single file.
No drafting!
And be sure that there's at least 2 feet between you and the other riders. There are some hand signals you should remember. Use your left arm to turn. Point out if you're going left. Point up if you're going right. Point to the ground if there's a road hazard.
Don't forget to shout out what's around you and the other riders.
Car back!
Clear back! On your left!
Car door!
Also, there is a trick to see if the car is moving. Just look at the wheels.
Since we cannot stop traffic, riders are responsible to make their own decisions at the intersections.
Obey traffic lights and use hand signals at all times.
Some of the intersections will be patrolled, but not necessarily controlled. Ride volunteers will be stationed at several intersections, but do not have the authority to stop traffic.
There will be orange flag wavers directing you to key intersections. Brooks Harbor, routes 5, 20, and 90. Pay special attention when making left turns across traffic. Always stay alert and remember the rules of the road.
While you travel, there will be 2 types of vehicles riding around with you. The first is motorcycles in their respective colored jerseys. They are there to assist you if you need any help. If you need help, give a thumbs down. If you don't need help, give a thumbs up. The second type is support and gear, officially known as SAG wagons, which are available to help riders who are hurt, fatigued, or experiencing mechanical problems.
STAG wagons will have a phone and the ability to assist you by taking you and your bike to the next pit stop. Certain STAG wagons will also be labeled tech. These will have volunteers to help you with minor mechanical problems. If you are unable to find a STAG wagon, please move off the road immediately.
If you want to dress warm in the morning, no problem. SAG wagons can bring clothes back to Stewart Park for you. At the pit stops, there will be index cards and safety pins to identify your clothing. And don't forget, give a thumbs down sign if you're having problems.
STAG wagons will also be taking people who choose not to ride the full 100 miles back to Cass Park from Seneca Falls. This might take longer, depending on the amount of people who need a ride back.
There will be massage therapists at Seneca Falls, but if you plan to ride to Cass Park, you might want to wait.
Do you want your muscles to turn to mush? I don't think so.
All pit stops will include water, Gatorade, food, and a nurse to perform basic first aid.
Be sure to be careful when entering and exiting the pit stops. And also, don't stay too long, even if the volunteers are way entertaining.
As you may have noticed, pit stops are very useful for riders. Be sure to review all the pit stops before the day of the ride. They help you if you need assistance, but also help you keep track of time so you can arrive to Cass Park by 5 p.m. Before you move on to an intensive lesson on changing a tire, please be respectful of all the locations and people you will be visiting on the ride. Remember, while riding you are a representative of STAP, so please follow the guidelines and regulations. And now for the intensive but rapid lesson on how to change a tire. Biker 1?
Thank you, host. Now are we ready to change a tire?
Yeah!
First you need to remove the bicycle wheel from the frame. Then release the air if the tire is not flat. Insert the thin end of the tire lever between the tire and the rim. Pull the lever down and clip the hook end to the nearest spoke. Then take the other lever and slide it to undo one side. Once the one side is free, you can pull the other side off with your hand. Pump 1 pump worth of air into the tube to give it shape. Now put the new tube in the tire. Find the hole that is used to pump the air into and pull it through the rim. Check inside of the tire with your fingers to make sure there's no remaining debris that punctured the old tube. After that, pull the tire over the wheel by using your fingers. Work around the rim to push one side of the tire onto the rim. Once one tire is on one side of the rim, make sure the tube is not pinched. If it is, gently pull the tube out from the other side. Once the first side is on, push the second side on with your thumbs. After the tire is completely on, you can reinflate the tube. Then reattach the wheel to your bike. You should have to push the lever in place enough to leave a quick imprint on your hand. I hope you have enjoyed our special lesson on how to change a tire. Back to you, host.
Wow, that was enlightening. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Thanks for joining us for the rules of the road. Enjoy the party at Cass Park. Have a massage, drink, and be ready by 5:15 to be escorted by the Ithaca Police Department to Stewart Park where dinner will be served. If you arrive at Cass Park early, take time to enjoy the festivities, which include masseuses, food, and drinks. Or go home and take a shower. Just make sure you're back in time for the victory ride. Make sure you continue to rehydrate yourself for the following few days. Keeping hydrated is important to help your body heal. Also, it's a good idea to stay active. Thank you all for being a part of the AIDS Ride for Life. Remember, this is not a race. Have fun and be safe.
I want to ride my